So the Legend of Zelda is being attacked more and more for representation problems. Yes, apparently escapism isn't the only type of ism that this game supposedly suffers from. It's interesting seeing articles like this too. You have fans getting excited about that 35th anniversary. I'm excited about it. I hope certain games are re-released. And when I see articles like this with the media dogpiling, telling you Asians, apparently they dream in white. I mean, after all, this is a Japanese company creation, but all the media sees here are a bunch of white dudes and a bunch of white chicks. And by God, that has to change. Now, what's even more stunning and brave about this article is it's written by a self-professed 33-year-old white dude telling you that they're drafting off of racial and societal issues made manifest in 2020. Now, when the author of this disclosed that little factoid, I kept wondering to myself, when you look at the Legend of Zelda and all you see are white people, does that say more about the Asian company that's created it, or does that say more about this author? I wonder indeed. Fun times, huh? Fun times. So hey there, folks, by the way. Now, when you and I are going over this article, let me make something perfectly clear. I don't care what's added to the game. You can add whatever the heck you want to it, as long as you make a fun game. But going and looking at Zelda, telling you that this game, it hasn't evolved enough in the last 35 years, yeah, that says plenty about the person writing it. What's amazing about this, too, is how utterly defensive and clueless this person is. They already know what the answers to their questions are going to look like. They know they're going to hear Nintendo is a Japanese company. Zelda, it's filled with different races and creatures, but they tell you, none of that matters. None of that matters at all. Now, their question here is, why aren't there more black characters in Zelda? There are black characters in Zelda, by the way, but it doesn't matter. They tell you right off the bat, I can't think of any, therefore. And frankly, even if you can rattle off a few, ask yourself, how big of a role did that character play in the Zelda game? It's not a very flattering picture, and my question is, why? Now, like I was saying, this is set off to draft off of real-world issues. Quote, this isn't a new issue or something we've just been figuring out is a problem by any means. Fans have been voicing this concern for years. But in the wake of 2020 and social and racial reckoning that swept across the world, it seems the question has become more timely than ever. Why are there so few black characters in this series? Why have other series seemingly surpassed Zelda in this regard? I look at franchises like Grand Theft Auto, Mass Effect, Horizon, Elder Scrolls, Halo, and more. Some of the biggest franchises in the world, and I see the representation of black people everywhere. So why is Zelda falling behind? Now, this is one of my biggest concerns about the media, especially the gaming media these days. We have something that could potentially unite us across the globe. We have people that are excited about that 35th anniversary. It doesn't know boundaries with race, ethnicity. We don't have gender or identity boundary issues. Everyone is focused on Zelda. Why? Because the real world is not made manifest in it. They want to take the escapism, though. They want to take the escape out, just keep the ism, and they want to take the real word component of race, and they want to make this racist or racism. And again, I don't care what someone adds to the game. If you want to add different characters to that, that's awesome. You do you. But to say that this thing that is beloved, that has been around for 35 years, is inherently racist. It has a racism problem. It has a representation problem because you don't see that on the screen. Like I said, I think it says more about the dividers in society, and it's not that game. Oh no, it's the media itself. Now, they get answers for this, too. You can see this in this search topic here. Black Zelda characters. Maybe one of the reasons is that when you bring this topic up to fans, they tend to get very defensive. This is defensive, by the way, if you look at the way that it's set up. I can hear the comments already as I live and breathe. Nintendo is a Japanese company, that's why. Or Zelda is a series filled with different races and creatures. Calling it out for a lack of diversity is dumb. To which I would say, yeah, Zelda offers up a wide variety of incredible races that look visually striking and unique, which is great. But, there are no prominent black characters in Zelda, and that's a problem. Now, after dumping on Nintendo for a while, and let's be honest, that's why gaming media exists these days. It's not to unite us, it's not to have fun. Oh no, it's to teach us a gospel of division. Yeah, we find out exactly who's writing this. To be honest, I don't think I fully grasped why this was such a big deal until a few years ago, and as a 33-year-old white dude, so we know who's writing this, a 33-year-old white dude, I'm certainly not the authority on this issue, but to me, there are two big reasons why this is critical. Now, the first reason that they're telling you here, by the way, is imagining a young black child playing Zelda games. You know, because young black kids have never played Zelda before. But they say, imagine a young black kid playing this Zelda game. When that child doesn't see anyone that looks like them, maybe they start thinking to themselves, this series isn't a place for kids like me, and they move on. Now, imagine instead that child sees a character with a voice that they can identify with. Maybe they stick with that series. Maybe they're inspired to get into the video game industry. Maybe the kid ends up working at Nintendo and influencing the next Zelda game with a different perspective and experience. To anyone scoffing at this, I bet this scenario happens more than you'd think. I'm not suggesting you can't identify with characters of different races, but I think we all agree seeing characters that look like you in the world, even a fantasy world, makes the world more inclusive. If a series is using the same type of people with the same types of experiences, then you have the same types of ideas constantly. If you never change, you never get better. Never get better, then you never get bigger. Now, I absolutely get what they're trying to say here, by the way, but really, when you think about what they said, they are really dismissive of those Asian POCs, aren't they? If a series is using the same types of people with the same types of experiences, then you have the same types of ideas constantly. Again, we're talking about a Japanese company. The people that work there, I wonder who the demographic is. Yeah, that is casually dismissing Asians because, hey, I think the faces on the screen, they look a tad too white. Now, reason number two why black representation is so important, maybe even more critical. I'm going to tell you a story. Now, what they're telling us is their story about Super Smash Brothers and finding out that the character behind Metroid, yeah, that's actually a female. Here they tell you, I found out that she was a girl. My 11-year-old self was like, no way, this guy kicks butt. No way, it's a girl behind the helmet. Not my finest moment, but hey, I was 11. I soldiered on, though, and kept playing Samus and eventually picked up Super Metroid to see what the series was all about. The Metroid Prime came out, and before you know it, that being a girl, it was a non-factor to me that even a few short years later, I was embarrassed by initial reaction. Not only was I playing as this badass space warrior, cool as hell, but it was completely normalized, the idea of females as bona fide video game stars in my eyes. More diversity in video games normalizes playing and identifying as different types of people to young kids, and heck, to adults too, and puts a stamp on the fact that there is multicultural world we live in. And that's gaming journalism in a nutshell, transposing the sins of their past on everyone else because they weren't raised right. It says plenty, doesn't it? It says plenty indeed. And again, I don't care what you add to the game. My whole point is number one, apparently Asians aren't POC enough. Apparently Asians, they dream in white. And apparently when we look at this, we can't celebrate the great uniter, 35 years of Zelda. No, it has to be racist in this day and age because some 33-year-old white dude said so. Yeah, anyway, let me know what you think about this. And always, I appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff possible. Couldn't do it without you, so thank you. And if you want to help out the channel, there are links in the description. Yeah, check those out. Again, sub, spread this around, all of that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you soon.